Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Angus and Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignons, and of course the king of all, those massive cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Hell, cut them up to 10 pounds a piece if you want. They'll take care of it for you. Hell, even those Angus and Wagyu Prime burgers are the best you'll ever have, in my opinion, probably the best I've ever had. In fact, find out what's for dinner at UppercutChops.com on your mobile device or on your computer, UppercutChops.com, or give them a call, 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935, 702-799-9935 for UppercutChops.com. All right, a big round of applause for UppercutChops.com, and welcome in everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates, independents from coast to coast, hotel television, and of course, welcome in everybody on our Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Time Warner, and WOW cable television affiliates. All right. You know, a lot of people have been bellyaching about Tom Brady. They've been saying, yeah, you know, Tom may be past his time, and Tom may not be doing this, and he may not be doing that. Maybe Tom ought to retire, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's saying that. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people are saying that, and they're complaining a lot about Tom. And that's okay. Let them complain. I have my own head-scratching ideas, and I'm going to share them with you. Maybe it'll give you something extra to think about. Maybe you'll tell me that I'm off my rocker, but frankly, I don't give a damn. Listen, my question is there a correlation between this whole FTX collapse and Tom Brady? You know, I looked at the timeline of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX and their collapse, and it drew, in my opinion, a few questions. Let's take a look at it real quick. So FTX announced back on January 31st of 2022 that it had raised $400 million from major investors such as SoftBank and Temasek and Tiger Global, blah, blah, blah. A host of other organizations and athletes, etc. Now, the funding propelled its valuation to a ridiculous $32 billion, more than any long-established company in this space. In fact, as The Street, that source, wrote at a time, it was a big jump of $7 billion in valuation in just 3 months. Now, how does one climb $25 billion, or a multiple of nearly 5 times so quickly? I've got a financial background. I look at this and say, well, what was the real valuation? What was the model they used? And all those other wonderful things. I mean, look at it this way. 10 months later, the platform, which allows you to buy and sell cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, etc., actually sunk, right? So their battleship was sunk. Look, the model was flawed in the first place. Now, what is known is that the firm ran out of cash, this is what they're saying, when its customers rushed to withdraw their money by selling the cryptocurrencies they had previously purchased on the platform. Now, FTX was using the client cryptocurrencies as collateral to borrow money, which in turn had transferred to Alameda Research, a trading platform with which it shares several links. Now, Alameda used this money to invest in crypto businesses and also for trading operations. Now, of course, the shock caused by the overnight implosion of one of the firms considered to be the most financially solid in the cryptocurrency industry is absolutely enormous. Now, also FTX had cleared, and they had actually had the biggest names among its ambassadors, right? Tom Brady, his wife Gisele Bündchen, NFL legends Steph Curry, Shaq, tennis stars Naomi Osaka, entrepreneur star of the hit TV show Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary, and of course, Seinfeld creator Larry David. So this is where the analysis kind of begins. And kind of follow me on this one, folks, because I'm going to make a couple of, guesstimations on things. Now, you may not like it, but I have to say that this is certainly worthy of listening to and then listening to again. So the news of troubles for FTX started November 2, to the public, that is. The news outlet CoinDesk published an article raising concerns about the financial health of FTX and Alameda Research. The article claims that the assets of Alameda Research consist of FTT, the cryptocurrency issued by FTX. Okay, tie number one. The revelations caused great concern for the following reasons. FTX was using FTT as collateral on its balance sheet. Sounds like a cross use there. This represents a significant exposure, of course, due to the concentration risk and the volatility of FTT in the first place. This therefore raises fears about the capital reserves of Alameda and FTX. Seemed like they were both using the same currency, or better yet, using one another's. Now, November 6 rolls around. 4 days later, of course, from the initial news from CoinDesk, and billionaire Changpeng Zhao, CEO of Binance, FTX rival exchange, announced that Binance was going to sell about $530 million of FTT in response to CoinDesk's information. And that triggered a run on the bank. Needless to say, the next day, Bankman-Fried assured the health of the company. It was not an issue. And of course, needless to say, that blew up. Now, just 3 days later, November 9th, in a letter, Sequoia, big investor, big group, states that it values the $210 million investment into FTX as zero and considered it a total loss. Yes, a total loss. Now, it gets worse. 1 day later, the assets of the company are frozen. Lights out. No liquidity whatsoever. What does this have to do with Tom Brady? Well, in my opinion, I believe he may have been compromised. Yes, Tom Brady, in my opinion, quite possibly may have been compromised. So was Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen's divorce a strategic plan by the two of them? Well, think about the news that came out around the separation of the two and a possibility that it was really the decline of Bitcoin trading company FTX was possibly to blame as a contributor to their divorce. Well, of sorts anyway. Now, the main hypothesis is that Brady and Gisele, along with a team of public relations, would have made a plan to leak news to the media to strategically plan their separation in order to protect their wealth and properties after the financial loss they both suffered from FTX in the first place. So, why did Tom Brady travel to the Bahamas in August? Well, let's face it, the Brady trip to the Bahamas, which was FTX's corporate headquarters, and maybe during his 11-day leave of absence from the Buccaneers training camp, and also the location of one of his biggest assets. Maybe he had some news of what was coming. Maybe. Well, the timing makes sense, doesn't it? And frankly, I believe that big investors and people of power are given certain information ahead of the masses. And that's the old proverbial insider trading thing. Now, I'm not saying that anybody did that. I'm saying the timing is a little peculiar. Analysts at Forbes estimate that Tom Brady had a 0.14% stake in FTX, which would have meant that he lost about $45 million when FTX filed for bankruptcy. Some people reported $600 million. Some reported $650 million. And this is from this particular source, The Street. So who really knows? Nonetheless, like Tom Brady, many investors in FTX saw their fortunes wiped out in a span of a week. Sounds familiar? We see commercials like that on TV all the time. And FTX was the second largest cryptocurrency exchange, and when its token, FTT, lost 80% of its value in 3 days. Many people like Tom Brady not only lost their money, but the world's largest cryptocurrencies lost $152 billion collectively. Oh, yeah. So, in the games leading up to the public data, you know what? Let's sit back for a second and let's think about this. Tom Brady is one of the greatest of all time. We all know that. I say he's the GOAT, the greatest leader of all time. But there have been some things, in my opinion, that are strikingly peculiar. And in fact, when we come back from break, we're going to get into these because there are things that I want you to hear, that I want you to chew on a little bit. And let's have some fun with this because remember, it's all hypothetical anyway. We don't know nothing. Ask anybody in the neighborhood. We don't know nothing. I'll tell you what, it sure seems compelling to me. Back here in a few minutes on The Circus. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come.
Zomerhits,
klokvaste actua,
de leukste cadeaus. Donna.
The sound of summer.
You're listening. The only one radio station in the heart of Pasig City. This is 104.1 Best Radio FM. Stay tuned.
WQI, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Mix 104.7 Toronto, Canada. 103.1 WXXY.
WQLA,
Green Bay, Appleton, Fox Cities.
590 VOCM St. John, 850 CHVO Carbonear, 710 CKVO Clarenville, 560 CHCM Marystown, 650 CKGA Gander, 620 CKCM Grand Falls, and 1240 CKIM Bayvert.
You're tuned into Boston's best for dance and R&B. Keep it locked to Mix 96.
WKLO Louisville.
EXW Trenton Kicks 101.5. The music you love to hear.
WRFM. Stereo 105.
You're listening to 97 WYNY. WYNY.
C100. WAYB FM 95 Atlantic City.
Oh, Norman.
Don't call me Norman. Call me Chubsy Ubsy.
I'm broadcasting.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. This segment brought to you in part by our friends over at Legal Shield, providing legal protection and peace of mind. Legal Shield can help with traffic tickets, texting and driving, DUIs, court appearances, estate planning. Maybe somebody took a whole bunch of money from you and you don't know what to do. Contact Legal Shield. Maybe they can help. 213-245-1305. That's 213-245-1305. Again, 213-245-1305. Or email them at info@nocourt.us. That's info@nocourt.us. Or, of course, you can check them out online at nocourt.us. All right, a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates, including our friends over in Honolulu on CBS Sports 1500, KHKA. That's home of the 49ers, New York Yankees, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Welcome to everybody that may be tuning in over in California on our NBC News and CNBC affiliate friends over there, as well as KQQY right here in Las Vegas, WDJY over in Atlanta, Georgia, 99.1 FM. Also, big hello to our friends over in Auburn, Alabama, WAUD, that's home of the 2021 world champion Atlanta Braves. That goes from Columbus, Georgia, all the way over to Montgomery. And, of course, everybody that could be picking up our content at different stations, including our friends over in Lubbock, Texas, KTXT 88.1 FM on Raider Radio, plus everybody else streaming on Instagram, Facebook, and AMP TV, AAMP.TV. Welcome in. Again, like, subscribe, and follow. And, of course, make sure that you pay close attention to this segment because we're talking a little bit about Tom Brady. And I had referred to the FTX situation. And obviously, some people say he lost $40 million, $45 million. Some people say they lost $300, $650 million, whatever the hell it is. All I know is that I was citing a story from The Street and then carrying on, The Street being a publication, not The Street, if you know what I mean. So nonetheless, they were saying that FTX is the second largest cryptocurrency exchange. And of course, when its token FTT lost 80% of its value in 3 days, many people like Tom Brady not only lost their money, but the world's largest cryptocurrencies lost $152 billion as a result. And hell, even $210 million was essentially wiped off the books, according to Sequoia, a big fund over there. And they said their $250 million investment into FTX is a zero and considered a total loss. So I had said, is Tom Brady or has Tom Brady been compromised? In my opinion, I'm going to make an argument that may give you some insights or it may make you think a little bit. Could he be compromised? Maybe, maybe not. Are the games in the National Football League compromised? I believe absolutely, unequivocally, yes. Players that I know, old and current, have all told me the same thing. In fact, accounts of game fixing, yes, is legit, and the games are compromised. And I even had one person on this program, I will not tell you what date, you're going to have to listen to thousands of episodes just to find it. But somebody said on this program that the games are fixed. And this is by somebody that played the game. So, and they went to go work for some people that may possibly participate in that shenanigans. So, accounts from that person and from several others tell me the games are fixed. So now the big question is, has Tom Brady been compromised? Tom lost a bunch of money. Who knows? I mean, let's face it. As FTX lost all that money, well, Tom lost a bunch of money. Shaq lost money. Steph Curry lost money. A whole bunch of other people lost money. Guy from Shark Tank, guy from Seinfeld, the Larry David, the guy who, I guess he was the creator of Seinfeld. He lost a bunch of money. Now look, in the games leading up to the public data of everything that we had mentioned in the first segment, Tom's Buccaneers, this is interesting, lost 5 of 6 games, conveniently only beating the other team in the division that was in contention for first place. Do I believe that the Falcons are in on it? Nah, I don't think so. I mean, look, they've played the same brand of 500-ish football since losing the Super Bowl to Tom Brady in the first place. And of course, Matt Ryan left town. And of course, are the Saints and Panthers in it? Nah, they're just bad football teams. So, the question is, in on what? Do I believe Tom Brady is compromised? In my opinion, possibly yes! I don't know anybody else that's going to say this out there, but it's my opinion and I have the right to say it. What does that mean? Is he in on game fixing? I have zero proof. I have zero hard evidence of anything that demonstrates that. However, in my opinion, the timeline of FTX and Tampa Bay's convenient losses make me think, well, as it probably ought to for you. And it seems that the Bucs are doing just enough conveniently to make the playoffs. Now, what can you attribute that to? I don't know. But have you watched the Buccaneers play? Yes, they have injuries, blah, blah, blah. Yes, they're missing players, blah, blah, blah. Tom Brady's stats are relatively consistent for the last few years since he's been with the Bucs in the first place. Quarterback rating is down, but his complete percentage is in line. He's at 65.8% so far this year. Last year, 67.5%. 2020, 65.7%. So he's right in the middle. Total yards are right in line. Touchdowns are slightly off. Actually, they're probably dramatically off. But the touchdown to interception ratio is what I'm getting at, is in line. Now, if you've watched the games as I have, you probably say, God, that was a terrible pass. And then you probably recently saw Mike Evans yelling or complaining or something in a recent game to Tom Brady, complaining. Something to the tune of, I was open, I was open. I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't hear it. But he was visibly complaining. And it seemed as though Tom Brady was conveniently missing those passes to him. And then, of course, when the passes came, they were off. They were not Tom Brady-esque. They were not crisp in the hands. They were overthrown. They were thrown behind the runners or behind the receivers. So the receivers could not catch those because, of course, players in the NFL make spectacular one-handed acrobatic circus catches these days. So that ball has to be not catchable. And this is what we've seen a great deal of. At least I've seen it. I don't know about you, the listener or the viewer, but I certainly have seen it. I can't be the only one that's seeing this. And the bettors, in my opinion, are seeing it too. As we see on PlaceYourBet.Vegas. Check out PlaceYourBet.Vegas for good sports information. Even on PlaceYourBet.Vegas, which we have a certain degree of control over, just like all the other sports books in Las Vegas, we've all seen the same thing. We've seen not familiar ground for Tom Brady. Some people say, well, maybe he's old, maybe he's got divorce problems. I don't know. Some people are saying that he got divorced to protect his assets. I don't know about that. But what I can tell you is what I'm seeing. Will Tom Brady and the Buccaneers make the playoffs? In my opinion, absolutely they will win an awful NFC South. Who is their competition? The Atlanta Falcons? Not really. Is it the Carolina Panthers? Absolutely not. Is it the Saints? No. It's nobody. The competition is Tom Brady versus the Buccaneers. Now the question is, yes, I believe they're going to win that awful division. They will host a playoff game. Maybe the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know. And will Tom Brady make the playoffs? Yes. Will they lose in the first round? Probably not. They'll probably get one win and then fall out. That's about it. And that makes the story complete. Because you see, I would be willing to bet a box of donuts that Tom Brady in the playoffs will be the Tom Brady that we saw. Now, will he have the weapons that he's had in the past? Probably not. But he'll certainly be good enough to win a game. But the big question is, have the games than his last, we'll call it the last 6 games, where they've lost 5 out of 6 and only beat the team that was challenging them for first place. Was he compromised, or is he compromised? Again, I believe yes. The stats may not show it, but there's something called the eye test. You can run analytics all you want, and the eye test tells the story. The eye test tells the story in baseball. When a pitcher should get pulled, if the pitcher's missing up, the pitcher needs to come out. As a former pitcher, I can tell you that is absolutely the case because the release point falls off, etc. Well, as the quarterback goes, I don't necessarily believe that Tom Brady's release point is consistent throughout the game. I think when he needs to throw a bad pass to make it look pretty good, I think that's what we're looking at. Now, if anybody wants to debate me on this, go right ahead because it's just my opinion, and I'm stating my opinion just like you're entitled to as well. My opinion is that those games have been thrown, and I think the passes are there to demonstrate that. Watch the video, folks. There's plenty of it out there. We're going to be back in a minute on The Circus. Don't go anywhere.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935, or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
So, you want to be in show business. Do people tell you that you're really funny, you have a great personality, and you should have your own talk show? Many of us have been told that, but we don't know how to get started. It's easier than you think. Let the pros at Cali Vegas give you a free talent evaluation. Call 949-445-1119 and learn how quickly you can create, produce, and host your very own talk show. Imagine not having to sit in traffic every day, commuting back and forth to the same old boring job. Get started in television or radio today with your free talent evaluation from Cali Vegas. Call 949-445-1119 or visit them online at calivegas.com. Make your dream come true today and create your new career and learn how to become a television or radio star with the help of Cali Vegas. 949-445-1119. Call now.
Don't call me Norman. Call me Chubsy Ubsy.
There's a drive. Way back.
Hey everybody, this is Barry Katz from the Industry Standard Podcast, and you're listening to the Sports Circus with Sal Tuzzolino.
welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. This segment brought to you in part by our friends over at the American Business Trust Company, helping companies with strategy, sales and marketing, capital resources, and establishing companies with physical locations or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea. The American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For more information, check out the American Business Trust Company at abtrustco.com. That's abtrustco.com, or email them at info@abtrustco.com for more information. They may be able to help. That's the American Business Trust Company. All right, welcome back to everybody listening in on radio and television, and everybody streaming as well. Thanks for joining us here on the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, and we had Tom Brady for the first couple segments, a little bit of head-scratching material there. Why? Because nobody else has the parts to talk about it except the circus. And remember, it's a circus, and we prove it every day. So, this one, not so much of a laughing matter. This one is a real problem, and it's a real problem for a lot of reasons. Yes, there's freedom involved, and this deals with Brittany Griner, and the critics say the Merchant of Death trade was among the worst in trade history. And some people, of course, are in the sporting world, they're comparing this to the Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees situation from the Boston Red Sox. I mean, look, this is one of the worst trades that I personally have ever seen. I don't understand it. I don't see it. I do understand it, actually. Unfortunately, I understand it. That's the problem. But, of course, everybody on the planet knows that WNBA player Brittany Griner was freed by Russia in exchange for arguably one of the worst humans of mankind. And that would be the infamous arms dealer who schemed to kill U.S. pilots in Colombia and frankly, just doesn't like this country. Sound familiar? It seems like Brittany Griner was protesting the national anthem on top of it. Not really sure about that. I don't know. I wasn't there. Nonetheless, sparking outrage from critics who blasted the deal and called it a surrender by Joe Biden. That's right. Whenever we mention certain people on the show, they get a chorus of boos because that's what they deserve in our opinions. Now, further, that 6'9" basketball player, missing, of course, iconic dreadlocks, following nearly 10 months in Russian custody, was traded for the Merchant of Death, Victor Bout, on the tarmac of an Abu Dhabi airport in a dramatic scene reminiscent of Cold War prisoner swaps. Quote, "She's safe. She's on a plane. She's on her way home," close quote, Joe Biden said at the White House, where he was joined by Griner's wife. But the controversial deal left ex-Marine Paul Whelan sitting in a Russian prison on what the U.S. has called baseless espionage charges. And of course, Whelan told CNN from the penal colony where he's being held, "I don't understand why I'm still here." And of course, close quote, "An arrest is coming. My bags are packed. I'm ready to go home. I just need an airplane to come and get me," close quote. So that comes from Mr. Whelan, an ex-Marine. Yes, an ex-Marine. And so the bigger question is, why? Why was Brittany Griner, who knowingly broke the law in Russia, she lived there for 4 years, if I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me, as a basketball player. So she knew what the rules were on drug trafficking and paraphernalia, etc., etc. Whatever the heck that is supposed to mean, I don't know. But what I will tell you that she had some drug trafficking type of charge from the Russian government. And of course, when you're not in the United States, you have to act for the local government wherever you're at. She lived there for years, and she probably knew the rules, but probably thought could get away with it. Oops. Yeah, how'd that work out? 10 months of your life in the Gray Bar Hotel or the Fun House or the Penal Colony, call it what you will. Nonetheless, we have a problem. So former White House National Security Advisor and American Ambassador to the United Nations, John Bolton, also blasted the exchange. He told CBS News, quote, "This is not a deal. This is not a swap. This is a surrender." Close quote. And for that comment, we applaud him. This whole thing is disgusting. It's an abomination because the United States is supposed to be the strongest and the best country in the world. And unfortunately, what we have seen a very weak, lame duck type of administration. And of course, in my opinion, this administration has completely torn down what the United States of America stands for. They use pseudo events to cover up the real shenanigans, like the laptop stuff. And they use pseudo events, in my opinion, like the January 6th thing. And you know what I remember about January 6th? I remember the gas prices in different parts of the country. For example, in South Carolina, I believe the gas was $1.79 a gallon. I remember that the country, this United States of America, actually had what? Oh, that's right. It seemed as though we had an oil surplus here. The economy was rolling. But no, the current administration is seemingly doing everything it can to fix elections, destroy the economy, destroy the border, which doesn't even exist in the South anymore. Oh, yeah. And that's the blue team. That's the Democrats. And that's exactly what it appears they have done. And it seems like they'll stop at nothing to keep fixing elections. Look what we saw in Georgia. We saw Herschel Walker in the lead and then magically lose votes as you saw it on television. Pick your favorite medium. They were showing it and then votes were subtracted conveniently. This was what some people had reported. Oh, yeah. What happened in Arizona? And this is all for what? Control of the Senate. Because, of course, the blue team did not want to lose control of the House and the Senate. Because then they couldn't fix the garbage that they've been fixing. When I say fix, I'm saying compromise. They couldn't do that anymore. And unfortunately, this Griner trade has a bigger twist to it. It has a bigger twist, in my opinion, as it's been reported by some sources, that this was also part of some sort of a money cover-up that goes back to the Ukraine. So the distraction of a WNBA player very well could have been the cover for hundreds of millions of dollars to be essentially moved out of the Ukraine that was allegedly moved in for some kind of protection or weapons or whatever the hell it was. I don't know. I'm not a part of that rodeo. But it was reported by several sources that this was being the Griner trade. In my opinion, again, probably the worst trade that we've ever seen, whether it was sports or other. But I believe, as I've been told by various sources, that this was a cover-up. Yes, is it disgusting? Absolutely. Should she have been over there in the first place doing what she's doing? And when I say trafficking drugs or whatever she was doing, carrying paraphernalia that she shouldn't have been carrying, whatever? No. You know the rules. Play by the rules. Was it something that, well, let's put it this way, that the players from the NBA, etc., their support, did they have anything to gain by it? No, they just wanted one of their own home. They just wanted a U.S. citizen home. But this was the same person, if I'm not mistaken, that was saying the national anthem, yes, folks, I believe she said the national anthem doesn't belong in the WNBA. That's right. This was also somebody that was doing what? Kneeling during the national anthem, seemingly showing no respect for the American flag and the national anthem. What the hell is that, folks? Now, I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you're from. If you are a citizen in these United States of America, it would seem reasonable that you ought to respect the flag, respect the freedom. You think maybe Brittany Griner is saying, you know what? I respect the freedom now, and so maybe I might not kneel for the national anthem, and maybe I might think before I pack stuff in a bag and travel to this country or to that company or country, whatever the hell it is. The fact is, now you've got somebody that may have a newfound respect, but in the interim, look what it cost this country to give up one of the worst humans on record just to bring Brittany Griner home in the first place. If she wouldn't have done what she did, she wouldn't have been there in the first place. It's disgusting. Back here in a minute on the circus, folks. This stinks. That's the trade. This is a sound effects compilation of the Griner for Victor Boot trade. Enjoy it.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935. Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection direct.
Hey, this is Tommy John, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
back to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP.TV. Folks, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for upcoming guests, our prior guests. Boy, we've had some good ones. Also, make sure you check out the partners page as well. One of those partners is the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out at csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's csncoyotes.com for the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out, folks. And welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Everybody tuning in on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, WOW, Time Warner Cable affiliates as well. Thanks for joining us, as well as Hotel TV and over 500,000 rooms from coast to coast. Plus everybody streaming. Thanks for joining us on Facebook, Instagram, and of course AMP TV, AAMP.TV. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. All right, on to college football. Enough of the other crap. How about this? Oh, well, hey, that's right. We got a little bit more crap here to deal with, and that's from the University of Florida, an unsuspecting institution. You wouldn't really suspect this, but guess what? Florida suspends quarterback Jalen Kitna after arrest on, yes, child pornography charges. Are you kidding me? Well, Florida suspended backup quarterback Jalen Kitna indefinitely after his arrest on child pornography charges. Kitna was arrested after a search of his apartment, and he's facing charges of possession of child porn and distribution of child porn on top of it. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. So a statement from Florida, the University of Florida, said, quote, "We are shocked and saddened to hear of the news involving Jalen Kitna. These are extremely serious charges, and the University of Florida and the University Athletic Association have zero tolerance for such behavior," close quote. Now, per the Gainesville Police Department, Kitna was arrested after he allegedly shared child sex abuse images on Discord, of course a popular online communication server. So now, according to the arrest report, Kitna was at his apartment when the police arrived. And the arrest report said, quote, "Detective Montague contacted Kitna at the residence and interviewed him. Kitna stated that he remembered sharing the two images but believed them to be legal since he found them online. Kitna was advised that he realized he should not have shared those two images based on the reaction from the other Discord user he shared them with. And Kitna advised shortly after that his Discord account was deactivated and that he assumed somebody reported him to Discord." Now, Kitna stated, this continues, stated that he received an email from Discord stating that his account was deactivated due to violation of the terms of service, and Kitna's electronic devices were seized as part of the search warrant. Preliminary research and analysis of the devices revealed 3 additional images of child sexual abuse material, close quote. What the hell is this guy thinking? And of course, Kitna signed with Florida a couple of years ago, and a redshirt freshman had served as the primary backup to Anthony Richardson in this season. And he's the son of former NFL quarterback John Kitna, and was, of course, a 3-star recruit in the class of 2021. He appeared in 4 games this season and threw 14 passes and 1 touchdown. And guess what? Now, the old man's got to do damage control because the name has been smashed, in my opinion. How remarkably, incredibly irresponsible. And Jalen Kitna has, in my opinion, embarrassed the family name, embarrassed the university name. Now everyone seems to have to do damage control. And that is absolutely awful. Absolutely awful on all accounts. And by the way, here's something that the Pac-12 would say is awful. UCLA has been cleared by California Regents to join the Big Ten and will pay the University of California, Berkeley at least $2 million per season. Oh, yeah.
Show me the money!
Oh, yeah. It's all about that. Now, opponents of UCLA and USC's move to the Big Ten Conference, they just lost. And the University of California Board of Regents, which oversees UCLA as well as the other schools in the UC system, namely Berkeley in this case, voted 11-5 to approve the Bruins' move, according to the LA Times, after months of political threats by their awful governor, Gavin Newsom and company, to kill the deal, which figures to reshape the state's college athletic landscape. Now, of course, USC is a private school, so they don't need any approval to join the Big Ten whatsoever. But moving to a conference located almost entirely in the Midwest will bring a bevy of logistical and financial challenges, with student athletes likely bearing the brunt and the worst of the road trips. And of course, critics of the deal went all the way up to the terrible California governor, but the upgrade in revenues from the Pac-12 was likely too great for the regions to ignore. And of course, follow the money.
Show me the money!
And show me the money. Now, per the LA Times, UCLA is projected to receive somewhere in the neighborhood of $65 to $75 million in its first year as a Big Ten member, which of course is about double of what they would have made in the Pac-12. Now, UCLA is to pay millions to support Cal and their student athletes as well. So on football television rights alone, the Big Ten will bring in approximately $1 billion per year thanks to its gargantuan new media deal. The Pac-12's upcoming deal will be a minuscule amount in comparison, so much that the regents voted to have UCLA pay Cal, the system's remaining Pac-12 members, a Berkeley tax of $2 to $10 million a year to offset what the school will lose in Pac-12 play without the LA schools involved. So you see, they can enforce it against UCLA, but not against USC, which I think is hilarious in the first place, of course. So USC doesn't have to pay that, and I love that. Additionally, UCLA will reportedly pay around $6.3 million per year in academic, nutritional, and mental health support for its athletes. Now, thanks to those millions of dollars in compromises, UCLA is headed to the Big Ten Conference. Of course, the commissioner, Kevin Warren, applauded the deal in a statement released soon after the vote and said, quote, "The Big Ten Conference is grateful for the University of California Board of Regents for respecting the decision of UCLA to join our conference in 2024. The landscape of collegiate athletics is evolving, and, of course, the Big Ten Conference is in a position of stability and strength with the unmatched opportunities, exposure, and resources for our member institutions and student athletes, with the collective goal to prioritize the health and well-being of our student athletes and forward our academic and athletic mission under the umbrella of higher education. We will continue our methodical integration process of UCLA and USC into the Big Ten Conference," close quote. So, of course, they're scheduled to join in 2024, the Big Ten. And, of course, there's a lot to consider: travel, money, conferences, benefits, etc. We can go on and on and on for that. But at the end of the day, they're making a good move financially, and it's a kind of a tough move for the student athletes, but they'll get over it. But nonetheless, that brings us to the bowl games. And, of course, last year, college football saw a record 42 FBS bowl games. And this year, there will be one more. There will be 84 teams playing in bowl games this year, with 2 teams getting a chance, of course, to play one more game in the national title game. That said, yes, let's get into it. And of course, we've got lots and lots and lots of bowl games here, and that's the best part about it. But what we're going to do is we're going to try to run through them pretty quick, and we will start out with upcoming games. And of course, starting with the bottom of the food chain being the Bahamas Bowl. The Bahamas Bowl features Miami of Ohio and the University of Alabama Birmingham Blazers, 2 6-6 teams. UAB is 11, the over and under is 45. Look for UAB to roll in that one. And of course, then there's the Cure Bowl. The Cure Bowl features a very good matchup, and the University of Texas San Antonio and the Men of Troy, the Troy Trojans. Troy is a 1.5 favorite, over and under 55.5. Look for UTSA to get a win in that one. The Las Vegas Bowl features Florida and Oregon State, a 6-6 Florida and a 9-3 Oregon State. Watch for Oregon State to roll in that one. They're a 10-point favorite. They might win by 20. SMU and BYU are in the New Mexico Bowl. 2 7-5 teams match up. SMU 3.5 points. Look for BYU to win that one. The LA Bowl, Washington State is going to get couged by the Fresno State Bulldogs. Fresno is a 3.5-point favorite. Washington State probably going to lose by about 10 points. And of course, the Fenway Bowl, the Bearcats of Cincinnati and the Louisville Cardinals. Louisville is a 2-point favorite with their new coach, and Louisville probably will win that game over a very good Cincinnati 9-3 team. The Lending Tree Bowl features Rice and Southern Miss. Rice is under 500 against a pretty good Southern Miss team. Southern Miss wins by 2 touchdowns in that one. Frisco Bowl, North Texas, Boise State by a bunch in that one. The Myrtle Beach Bowl, Marshall, the Thundering Herd, against UConn Marshall big in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. The Idaho Potato Bowl features San Jose State, a pretty good team, against Eastern Michigan, a very average team. San Jose State gets the win. The Boca Raton features Liberty minus Hugh Freeze and the Toledo Rockets. Look for the Rockets to roll. And, of course, the New Orleans Bowl, Western Kentucky, and the Jaguars from South Alabama. Look for the Hilltoppers to roll in that one, even though they're getting 4.5. Armed Forces, Baylor and Air Force. Watch out. Baylor might win that one. Gasparilla Bowl, Wake and Missouri. Mizzou in a big one. Independence Bowl, Louisiana, the Ragin' Cajuns, and Houston. Houston rolls. Hawaii Bowl, Middle Tennessee and San Diego State. San Diego State big. And, of course, the Quick Lane Bowl, New Mexico State and Bowling Green. How about Bowling Green by a big number? Wisconsin and Oklahoma State in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl. And Oak State should win that one really big, and they're getting 3 points. The First Responder Bowl, Memphis and Utah State. Memphis wins that one. The Birmingham Bowl, Coastal Carolina and East Carolina. Boy, that's a tough game. That'll be a fun one. Look for Coastal Carolina to win that one. The Camellia Bowl, Buffalo and Georgia Southern. A very good matchup. We're going to go for Buffalo on that one. The Holiday Bowl, Oregon and North Carolina. Yes, and how about this one, folks? How about the Military Bowl with Duke and Central Florida? The Fighting Malzahns are going to lose to the Duke Blue Devils. The coach of the ACC, coach of the year, is over there. And carrying on real quick, the Holiday Bowl, we got Oregon, North Carolina. We're going to go with Oregon in that one. Liberty Bowl, Kansas, Arkansas. And we're going to go with Arkansas in that one. Texas Tech and Ole Miss in the Texas Bowl. That's going to be Ole Miss. And the Cheez-It Bowl, Oklahoma and Florida State. They finally make a bowl game forever. Oklahoma somehow finds a win to win that one. Yankee Stadium, Pinstripe Bowl, Syracuse, Minnesota. That one's all Minnesota. Texas and Washington in the Alamo Bowl. Watch out. Huskies got a better quarterback. Tennessee, Clemson in the Orange Bowl. Watch out for a revenge game by Tennessee. And Maryland and North Carolina State also are meeting up in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. And we're going to give Maryland that one. Pitt, UCLA, we're going with Pitt. We're going also with Notre Dame over South Carolina in the Gator Bowl. Arizona Bowl features Wyoming and Ohio. Watch out for the Cowboys. And Purdue over LSU with their new coach in the Citrus Bowl. The Sugar Bowl, Bama and Kansas State. We're going with Kansas State. Texas Christian and Michigan. We're going with an upset with TCU. Ohio State all over Georgia. Ohio State wins the national championship over TCU. And, of course, then we have a couple others. Kentucky over Iowa. And that's in Music City. Reliquist, Illinois over Miss State. USC over Tulane in the Cotton Bowl. And Utah over Penn State in the Rose Bowl. That's going to do it, folks. So long, everyone.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at Uppercut Chops.